So somebody emailed me a question, and I thought this was a really good question. They didn't want their email or their screen name shared, but that's okay. So he said, what would you tell your 18 to like 21-year-old or whatever son or if you had a young son anywhere from 18 to 21 or 25 or whatever, what would you say if they talked to you about wanting to use performance-enhancing drugs? And, full transparency, I've been on testosterone replacement therapy. I go to a doctor here in Vision Medical in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Getting my blood work done again in November. And I am on therapeutic doses. So I'm not on, Mr. Olympia fucking stuff. So what would I tell? Well, first and foremost, I would say, 18 to 25, whatever, I would say,
in a quarter mile, turn
early,
right onto Causeway Boulevard.
early on, 18 and 19 and 20, I'll tell you, I see a lot of kids here in Florida that are on gear. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a good idea because, one, you don't even know how your body, what is your natural potential? You know what I mean? And what is the end result? Being on testosterone replacement therapy like your dad the rest of your life? Are you not planning on having kids? 18 to 21, listen, I'm not buying shit from a gym guy. You know what I mean? You've got to it's not a good idea, first and foremost, because you're fucking with your natural testosterone at a real early age, and that might stop you from making the full amount of testosterone that you're supposed to have earlier on than needed. And your frontal cortex and all that shit ain't fully formed. It's just, you really need to take fucking steroids at fucking 18 years old to what? Look good at the beach? I mean, are you playing Division I? Are you on do you got a chance to make it in the NFL? You're some fucking high school running back prodigy? Probably not. Just think it's a bad idea, After you're 20, say my kid was in college, gets out of college now, you got to worry about, you're going to meet some girl, are you going to end up, having children? Is she going to want kids? Because that shit, isn't going to make, your sperm be fucking performance enhancing, I just think, you need to really see how your body reacts to training naturally and how your body reacts to certain foods and certain, the carnivore diet, going vegan for a while, going back to, carbs and meat, and just kind of see, if you go right away to whatever, you're never going to know, and you're only this age for a limited amount of time. You should be able to look good like your dad naturally, then when you get, if you're listen, you're 30 years old, you have settled whatever you're going to settle, and you want to go to a reputable clinic and tell them that get your shit tested, that's completely different, to me. I just think that age, I see kids, they're 20-something years old, they're getting they're taking Tren, they're taking this, they're taking that, and they're, I was always over 200 pounds in high school. I was 100 pounds in first grade, you know what I mean? You want to see what you can do naturally. I mean, if I benched my max bench 405, I never was on steroids when I did that. Do you know what I mean? I was 23 years old. So you're never going to know these things. you know? And I don't know. I'm not a person that's a hypocrite. I just don't think that it's always going to be there for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have a problem getting in shape, you know? And the one thing that I would tell anybody is, once you take this shit, you're running the risk pretty much of, you're never going to feel, I don't care what anybody says, once you take testosterone, you're never going to want to not take it ever again. So you're pretty much going to want to take it now. And then it's like you're dependent on it, you know? Like, you're dependent on it. So do you want to be dependent and pricking yourself with a needle twice a week or once a week or whatever, or micro-injecting into your stomach or microdosing, whatever the fuck? I don't know, man. When I was a kid, you used to just follow your diet. You used to cut stuff out. You go, oh, this isn't working, or I don't know, man. We weren't all, obviously we knew the shit existed, but I just think that you're running the risk of having to. I don't believe there's this thing called PCT, post-psychotherapy. I never believed that bodybuilders ever went off of fucking steroids. I think that's just some bullshit that they all said in their little cult to just make it sound like, whoa, we only took them here and there and then we went off. And I don't believe that ever. I don't believe anybody that says that. I think that's total bullshit. But I would say, after all of that considering, and you just can't be, and you're just gonna go do it anyways because you're a kid and you're fucking stupid like everybody is that's a kid, and you want to go do it. To me, it's not the worst thing in the world that you do. But if I notice any kind of kookiness out of your ass, there was a kid in this movie, Big, Strong, Faster, or whatever it was called, and the kid committed suicide, and the people that made the movie obviously are pro steroids, but we don't know if that kid committed, because not having the right amount of testosterone can fuck with your mental shit that we don't even know about, so, and it can make you fucking, it brings out, exacerbates, I guess would be the word. It will bring out whatever you are. If you got a little bit of a hair trigger already, put it this way, I thought about it. I thought about it when I went on it before I went on it for over a year. Then I even thought about it when I bought a gun. I was like, you can't be, and I said, and you can't just be, it's not the 90s. You can't punch people in the face anymore. So you've got to be able to, wind yourself down. Because it definitely can make you a little fruity. You know what I mean? And some people aren't good at controlling that shit. It can make you I'm an emotional person. It makes me more emotional. And I catch myself getting emotional. I catch myself. And I was always like this when I was a kid. I would catch myself, like even when I was like 18, I would catch myself. I would catch myself mainly talking like, I would be talking myself into why I have to fucking wallop this dude for what he did or whatever. This needs to be done. Justice needs to be doled out. Your honor is at stake or whatever. And when you're on some of these things, it just makes you like go, it can make you crazy, like if you're already a fucking kook, I don't know. I would say it's not the worst thing in the world, but we're not buying it at a gym. You're going to a doctor. You want to make sure you don't have markers for cancer or kidney problems or liver enzymes. Get all that shit checked out. But man, you got your entire life. You really want to fucking take that shit now, and you meet the hottest girl of your dreams and she wants to have your baby, and then she finds out that you can't have kids, you know what I mean? But you can pick up a fucking couch and move it up and down the stairs by yourself. I think she's probably going to rather if you had kids, You know what I mean? And waited. That's my 2 cents.